Thursday edition of Hawk Talk here on 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater. I'm your host, filling in for Max Halverson today. I'm Chris Pittner, and I'm joined with Austin, David, and Drew. And let's just jump right into the Warhawk Thought today, which is what was a hot take on this episode, which I have not been a part of before, that you guys have correctly predicted. Austin, we'll start with you.
So we have this thing where we do paper picks, where Max write downs like an upset of the week. But unfortunately, I have not gotten any of those right. I don't think. I think like the biggest thing I picked was like everyone picked the Seahawks against the Bucks in Germany, and I picked Tom Brady just because I don't know. I had a feeling, and then they won that game. But like I don't have any noteworthy picks. We'll go to David for that one. I'm sure he's got.
David's got a good one.
David's got one on lock. David.
I forget which week, but I predicted that the Steelers would beat the Buccaneers, and was relentlessly bullied and tormented for it.
Well, at the time, that was a tormentable offense.
The very next week, I showed up with a picture of Kenny Pickett on my chest.
You tormented yourself even more by forcing yourself to stay hot in this studio.
It was, but the end result was completely worth it. And I think that I think that looking back at that, it was very much worth it to be literally dripping in sweat for 40 minutes to be able to have that bit at the end. So I regret nothing.
Was that the final thought of the day?
No, it was just when we got to the Steelers.
Yeah, when we got to the Steelers.
What, did you just have it underneath and then you ripped your jacket off?
I had my insulated Columbia coat on for 40 minutes in this hot studio, but
He's like, guys, it's getting a little hot in here.
Sometimes
just teasing
you
it
just
the whole way
sacrifice
through.
it for the bit, though. So.
No, he didn't tease it at all. He didn't say anything.
Nope.
He just sat here in the studio.
I didn't even tell. Drew was hosting that day, and I didn't even tell him that it was happening. So
that's awesome. I love that.
I would have to say the one that I had was just before Thanksgiving break. Everyone picked the Vikings, and then I chose the Cowboys to win, and then the Cowboys...
I probably would have chose Actually, no. Just at the time, I would have chose the Vikings because they came off the loss to the Packers.
But I went off with the Cowboys, and that was a huge week, and I came back after break, and I'm like, yeah, you all said the Cowboys were going to lose, and look what happened. That was probably mine.
Yeah, that's a good one. I correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I see a lot of the 2019 Packers in those Vikings this year.
I could
see
that.
A lot of close wins, nail biters. However, the Packers did have a few blowouts that year. But
the Vikings, when they played the Packers week 1.
It's as I said yesterday.
That's week 1 Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't count.
It's as I said yesterday on the Wednesday show. The Vikings, even though they've only have 2 losses, they're 9-0 in one-score games this season.
And it feels like some of the wins that they have are just incredibly lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
Bills.
they're a good team. I don't respect their fan base, but I respect their players. They're good players for the most part.
I would put the Bengals over them right now.
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to agree with you on that. So, I guess the biggest hot take, I've obviously never been on this show before. However, my biggest hot take probably is, it's got to be, I thought the Lions had a chance against the Packers in week 9 when no one else did, just because,
Yeah.
we're subpar this year, to say the least. But
Bakhtiari's got to start playing wide receiver more.
I disagree with that. He needs to heal up from his appendectomy and get back on the field again. So, we're just going to move right into the first game then, which our Thursday night game of the week was 2 teams that were supposed to be contenders this year, but have both struggled at points throughout the season, one of them more than the other. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Rams, the Battle of California tonight. We'll start with Drew on this one.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. Let's be honest, the Rams haven't really done much this season. They've definitely fallen off a little bit.
A little bit is an understatement.
Yeah, let's be real. A little bit's a huge understatement, but this is a team that's definitely picked it up a lot in the second half of the season here. So I think we're going to start seeing them on the upward trend some more, and I have them winning this one 21-14.
Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams have been lifesavers for them. They've saved Josh McDaniels' job.
Isn't Renfro coming back soon?
Soon.
Is he still on the IR?
Sounds about right.
Either way, I was gonna say the Rams' best offensive weapon right now is Van Jefferson.
Cam Akers.
the Rams' best offensive weapon right now is Van Jefferson.
Just shut me down.
So yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I personally think Cam Akers is kind of a bust.
Oh, I fully agree. Although I had to pick him up again this week.
I can see that, especially with with no Darrell Henderson anymore, who they cut for some reason. I really don't know what's going on with their backfield, but I just this is the risk you take when you try to make a star-studded lineup. If some of the stars go out, then
There's
you're
nothing.
Left. There's
You
nothing
got
at the other
Ben,
positions.
whatever his last
Ben
name is.
Skoranek.
Yeah, that guy. You
Yeah.
got him as your wide receiver too.
Yeah, and pretty much every big name besides Jalen Ramsey is Aaron Donald's still out. Stafford's obviously out. Kupp is out. Allen Robinson is out. Darrell Henderson's gone. It's looking like it's going to be Bryce Perkins at quarterback. And even if Baker suits up,
I think Baker might play tonight.
Baker's probably going to play, but I don't know if he's going to start. But even if he does, as much as I am a Baker believer, it's really hard to
Especially
justify
with the
him at all this year.
weapons that he's coming
Yeah.
in with.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't do anything with DJ Moore as his wide receiver one, I don't know what he's going to be able to do with what he has in LA. So I think this is going to be an absolute blowout. I think that the Raiders are going to hang 30 on him. I think it's going to be like 31-7.
Yeah, I also got the Raiders here. They're definitely on the upward trend. It might be a little too late for them to make a playoff push. I think they have like a 10% chance or whatever. But Josh Jacobs is the NFL's leading rusher. I think Devontae Adams still unarguably is the top
He's one
three
of like
receiver.
2 or 3 receivers in the NFL that has more touchdowns than Christian Watson right now.
There we go. So I think he undoubtedly still a top 3 receiver. I would still put him top 2.
And not to?
Maybe top 2, not 2. That was the thing last year. But anyways, I think the Raiders are definitely on an upward trend, and the Rams are on a downward spiral. So I got the Raiders in like 30-10.
I'm going to have to... I should spice it up and say the Rams, but they just have nothing
You
to
can't
give
do
me
that to
any hope
yourself.
in this game.
You can't do that to yourself.
I like to go for the underdog sometimes, and I just was unable to do that here. There's nothing that inspires me. The only thing that they have going for them at this point is Sean McVay. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, but if
Like, if
Aaron
he's a good
Donald
enough
and-
coach to where he could potentially keep this competitive, just because the Raiders kind of have a Swiss cheese level defense, but
Yeah. If Aaron Donald and if Aaron Donald retires and like Ramsey, Stafford, and Kupp all leave, I'm pretty sure McVay is gone.
yeah.
I think he's leaving pretty much regardless. I think he would fit perfect in the booth for anybody.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
think ESPN could take him just if they
That's
don't
all.
want to keep Joe and Troy on the air,
Yeah.
depending on what they want to do.
Yeah.
Although they sounded very lively the other day. It's December. I don't know if you guys saw that or not,
Yeah, I
but
did. That was funny.
but yeah, I'm gonna take the Raiders here, probably around 30-21. Hot take there. I think the Rams score some points. But moving on to our second matchup, we have the underdog Minnesota Vikings at 10-2 versus the Detroit Lions, who are
Vegas
5-7
knows something we
here.
don't.
But Austin, we'll start with you on this one.
Well, I'm gonna take the upset of the week. I'm gonna take the Minnesota
trap game
Vikings.
for him.
Paper pick.
I'm gonna take the Minnesota Vikings in this one.
Someone call Max.
The Lions are hot. Winners of 4 of the last 5. The one they lost was against the Bills. It was like a close game.
It
on
was a very
Thanksgiving.
close game.
Yeah, close
Down-
game on Thanksgiving.
That was
Last
second
It was a
field goal.
Stephon Diggs pass that Tony Romo described as being put on a tightrope that lost them that game.
Oh.
So, anyways, the Vikings can clinch the division with a win, so I think they're going to come in with some energy, and I think they're going to upset the Lions this week. I'm going to pick the Vikings
Wow.
28-17.
Big upset right
Yep,
there.
huge upset pick.
I don't know. Maybe there's just something in the air, but I'm also feeling this upset.
It's a tough one.
As much as the Lions have looked like a top 3 team in football, as Vegas has them listed. I do think that their rushing defense, has been one of the only problems with this team this season.
Oh, you
So-
mean the Lions?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, they've been picture perfect everywhere else.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you really
basically.
can't complain.
I mean, they locked down wide receiver
Yeah.
1 David Bakhtiari against the
Yeah.
Lions.
Yeah.
Oh my
Man,
gosh.
Top five defense in football, like 100%.
Yeah. I mean, when you know, when you know, star cornerback Aiden Hutchinson is playing as good. All right, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I think
He's got 2 picks on the year, though.
he does have 2 picks. His first career ever interception was against the unvaccinated master himself.
The immunized king, as we'll call him.
But yeah, the defense for the Lions was kind of their Achilles heel earlier in the season. You know, when they were getting into when they got in that shootout with the Seahawks.
That and the one with the Eagles, too.
Yeah, it's always astounding that when a team puts up like 40, 45 points and then still ends up losing the game. And I think their aerial defense has actually been a little bit better.
Jeff
And-
Okudah's been playing well.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Jeff Okudah. I think he's like right outside the top 10 when it comes to cornerbacks right now. But I think their rush defense is still kind of leaves something to be desired. And I think Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison are just going to have a field day with their rush defense. So I can see this. I think honestly Jared Goff has really broken out of that like bottom 5 quarterback label that was put on him.
I mean,
at the beginning of the season.
as we were saying on Tuesday, even he's in my 6 seeds. He's not in my 8 seeds anymore.
Which is going to make it interesting to see, you know, what the Lions do with their draft pick because quarterback might not be, you know, the biggest concern right now. But either way, I think the Lions have the offensive competence to keep this competitive. But I'm gonna go with Austin's score. I'm gonna say 30-17 actually.
Yeah, I was kind of going to go along with you guys and say Minnesota's going to take this one here. I mean, you can't deny that the Lions have had a really good offense this second half of the season, winning again like most of their games, and except against the Bills, which they kept super close even. But looking at this Minnesota offense, you just can't deny that this is another powerhouse team, and Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins are quarterback, wide receiver, one probably top 3 duo right now in the league, I would argue. But yeah, I'm going to go 30-17.
I'm going to buck the trend here. I'm going to go with the Lions just because I think the game in Minnesota was really close.
it's the
I
safe
think
pick.
it's kind of a
It's the safe-
toss-up, to be honest. I'm going to go with the non-upset here. I'm
It's-
going
yeah, I
to
was
pick
gonna
the
say,
favorite team.
It's a safe pick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this game could go either way, as weird
Yeah.
as it sounds. But then again, Dan Campbell could also lay down an absolute goose egg of a coaching plan, which he's
Yeah.
done a few times this year, too.
Yeah, his clock management has been questionable at times.
I
but-
love the man. I think he's a very motivational coach.
Yep.
Like, he has his players running through a brick wall for him, even when they're like 0-9.
Yeah. Oh, also, Jameson Williams.
He's back.
He's making a season debut. So that's
I thought he
something
played last week.
Did he?
I think he did. I
He
thought
had one
did.
target. That's it.
Oh, wow.
He didn't. I think he was limited.
Okay.
But
Well, hopefully now that he has a full weeks of like work under his belt, he might actually like get on the field.
I think the Lions overall are gonna buck the trend of Minnesota winning 1 scores, and they're gonna win 28-24.
Okay.
So moving on to the next one, we got the Eagles and Giants, an NFC East matchup for the ages. We'll start with Drew again on this one.
I'm going to go with the fan favorites here, and I am going to say the Eagles. If the Eagles win or tie this week, which is, by the way, let's just talk about the fact that this is a season we've had 2 ties in already. Never saw that coming. But if the Eagles win or tie this week, they make playoffs, which is, like, really exciting for them. But this, again, kind of like going
Yeah,
back.
shout out to Brian on Tuesday, Wednesday shows. Big Eagles fan.
Yes, very big Eagles fan. But, like, this offense has been extremely well-rounded all year. Like, even if you've got, like, one player, because, like, I've got Miles Sanders on my fantasy team, and even if he doesn't perform, I come in with another player, and he's, like, on the, like, has
It's
a
like
huge game.
Jalen, their offense just picks the guy every week almost.
They pick the guy. So, and I mean, this Eagles defense is pretty good, too, and the Giants defense isn't necessarily the best. And with how strong this offense is from the Eagles, I'm going to say it's going to be 28-24.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Eagles on this one. I agree with what you said, Chris, where you say that it kind of just rotates from every guy. And we've even seen Devonta Smith kind of had a slower start to his season, but he's started to really pick it up in these last few weeks. And A.J. Brown's just an absolute menace. That man
Except against the
terrorized Titans fans last week.
Except against the Packers.
Yeah.
We kind of locked him down a little bit.
Yeah. Well.
Wait, no, I take that back. Other game, the week before that.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, so he's just AJ Brown low key might be playing himself into like the top 5 wide receiver conversation. I think he's been on the same level as like Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill this year. But even if they don't have him, Devonta Smith's an extremely capable wide receiver too. I'm pretty high on him, and the rush game. It's as much as
there's multiple threats in the running game.
As much of a wizard as Brian Daboll is, and I still think he deserves to be in the Coach of the Year like conversation. It's just so hard to game plan for a quarterback like Jalen Hurts because a dual threat quarterback that can completely stun the defense with like a designed quarterback run is really hard to plan for. So I think the Giants, I think the Giants defense is solid. Kayvon Thibodeau's been really good. But I think the Eagles will win by multiple scores. I'll say 27-14.
Yeah, I also like the Eagles in this one. The Giants, they've kind of fallen back down to earth in the last few weeks. Lost a couple games and then tied with the Commanders, which, by the way, was the most like ironic game that the Commanders and the Giants, they were like both surprise teams fighting for a playoff, and then they end up tying. But
it's very fitting.
Yeah, very. But yeah, I like the Eagles here. Saquon Barkley hasn't played how he did at the beginning of the season, so that's definitely one of the reasons the Giants are falling off. And the Eagles, I think, are still a top 3 team in the NFL, so I'm going to go with the Eagles 28-14.
I'm going to kind of go with you guys on this one. I think the Eagles have a lot of ball hawk type corners as well, like Big Play Slay and James Bradbury. I think that they're just going to terrorize Daniel Jones, and I think he's going to have a multi-interception day, and I think the Eagles take it 28-14 as well. So moving on to the next one, we don't really need to discuss this. It's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Houston Texans. The Battle of Texas here, however, Cowboys. Don't have to say anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Cowboys here.
Nah, guys, it's definitely going to be the Texans. Them 1-10-1, so I'm telling you.
Yeah. Texans are already scouting on who they want between Stroud and Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And they'll probably pick the wrong one either way.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just saying.
Whoever goes there.
No matter what, it is the Texans we're talking about here, so it's not going to work out.
I'm just saying C.J. Stroud's pro comparison is Dak Prescott, so if they choose him, they better be prepared for him to be carted off the field a few times every year.
And throw 4 interceptions when he's playing.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement on this one. It's not even
it's gonna be the Cowboys.
Not even a discussion here.
Hey, I'm just saying Davis Mills is starting again, man. He won the job back.
As he should. Kyle Allen is a joke.
Trash.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one, we got a divisional rivalry here, which I think could go to. Oh wait, no, they're favored. Never mind. But the Ravens and the Steelers. I guess I'll start this one. I think the Steelers have this. Might be a bit of a hot take here. I don't have a ton of faith in Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator.
No.
This is a battle between 2 offensive coordinators that are kind of inept. The Ravens have 0.
Oh, yeah, Matt Matt Canada.
The Ravens
Gross.
have 0 wide
Ew.
receiver talent, in my opinion, too. I think Devin Duvernay's not been performing. Pretty much all they have is Mark Andrews.
When Bateman comes back, he's a good receiver, but I think he's out for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded Hollywood Brown in the offseason. The whole vision was kind of unclear. I think the Steelers take this one 19-14. I think Tyler Huntley does have a rushing touchdown, though. Austin?
Yeah, I think I like the Steelers here too, just because Lamar's obviously the Ravens' best player, and without him, they're going to struggle. And also, it seems like the last couple of years, the Steelers, even though they may have been like the worst of the 2 teams, they've still had the Ravens' number. I know they beat them at the end of the season last year to get into the playoffs. And then, yeah, so I feel like they just have the number. And without Lamar, I like the Steelers in this one. Kenny Pickett is still, like, I'm not super high on him, but he's definitely starting to look serviceable at quarterback, and he's better than Tyler Huntley. Along with the Ravens, like you said, they just don't have any weapons. So
Unless Tyler Huntley's playing against the Packers, then he magically turns into Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Or Michael Vick would be a better comparison, I guess, because he can run.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with the Steelers in this one. Probably 21-10. I don't really trust the Ravens offense.
I think Greg Roman's been inept as OC this year, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the battle of the offensive coordinators who won't have jobs next year. Hopefully. Matt Canada, one of my favorite NFL memes is the one of Jesse White from Breaking Bad, and he's like, Walter White, sorry, and he's like, looking over the beakers and everything's like really, and it's like Matt Canada crafting the worst offensive scheme you've ever seen.
Honestly.
Yeah, but I actually think that this Steelers team is a lot better than their record shows. Najee's looked pretty good these last few weeks.
They're starting to roll into gear. I think Tomlin could have another.
They're gonna find a way.
That's what
500
so that was gonna.
They're gonna find a way.
That was gonna be my next point. I was gonna say, Tomlin has not had a losing season yet, and this is like probably the closest chance he's had to not having a winning season. So I think he's gonna start to put the glasses, the LeBron James thing where it's like no team has ever come back down 3-1. He's got like the headphones and the glasses on. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season before, and then just insert that into that picture. So he's gonna be like scheming and like working out like trick plays and stuff.
Yeah, because Matt Canada sure won't be doing it.
Yeah, they need to get George Pickens the ball more. I don't understand. He had like 3 targets in their last game.
It's because he throws to Freiermuth, which I'm not mad about because he's on my fantasy team.
Freiermuth is good, but I think no Lamar, no J.K. Dobbins, no Tyler, no Rashad Bateman. I feel bad for Mark Andrews because he's probably going to get the ball. He's probably going to get overthrown on like half his targets. So yeah, I think I'm going to say same score for when I predicted the Steelers to beat the Buccaneers. I'm going to say 20-18. Weird score, but it worked.
It did work.
Is that a scoregami or not?
I love the scoregamis.
There was one last weekend.
There was.
I think the Cowboys won.
Yeah, it was the Cowboys and Colts. That was a scoregami.
Yeah, and it was a close game in the fourth quarter, and then
the
Cowboys scored 33 to get a scoregami.
That's
4 straight fumbles.
I was gonna say the 54-19 was a scoregami. And didn't they go from like one scoregami to another? I'm pretty sure I read something like
21-19. Would
that
be it?
47-19, and then they went 54-19.
Oh, I mean probably. 19's kind of an obscure score.
Yeah, I know that the Broncos winning 11-10 against the 49ers was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was.
Jimmy G having
Broncos country.
Jimmy G having the smartest play of the season, taking a safety to avoid throwing a future pick six.
Yeah, but no,
big brain right there.
I'm also gonna go with the Steelers on this one. Tyler Huntley is definitely still like kind of adjusting to this team a little bit. We kind of saw him like get comfortable with it last week, but kind of like as you said, like this is a Steelers offense that is built really well, and their record doesn't show that enough. So I feel like right now, especially during the latter half of the season, we're going to see them rise back up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made a little bit of a deep run in the playoffs. So I'm gonna agree with you and say 20-18.
That's a bit of a hot take right there. I don't think they'd make a playoff run, but I think they have a chance to make the playoffs still. It's not out of the woods yet. So moving on to the next one, we got the Browns and the Bengals, and I'm just gonna say this because I think it's funny. Joe Burrow has never beaten a Cleveland team, and I think that continues on Sunday.
Undefeated versus Patrick Mahomes somehow.
Yeah, I think Myles Garrett's getting 3 sacks, and the Browns win 24-21. That's all I got, guys. It's up to you.
Just because I want it to happen, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. He breaks the curse and beats Cleveland. I think they're the better team. They're coming off a win against the Chiefs where they should win this game, but like you said, they might find a way to lose it. But I think Deshaun Watson did not look very good last week, and Joe Burrow looked amazing. He's thrown himself into at least the MVP conversation.
Yes, sir.
And
Joey B.
Jamar Chase is back. I'm not sure on Mixon. I don't know if
he's back.
He's back.
He's questionable, but I think he'll play.
He's gonna return.
Which is sad for me because I have P. Ryan as my starting running back.
Piron's a dog, bro.
He needs to go to a different team.
No, please. I still want him on the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals here just because they're the better team and they should win this one. I'll go 31-17.
So, fun fact. I don't know if you guys knew this, but even though the Browns have just completely blew out the Bengals, Von Bell has only allowed 3 completions on Amari Cooper in his entire career.
Interesting.
It's a weird stat I found. But being a Bengals fan, I can't go against. It sucks because lost the Battle of Ohio for like I don't even know how long now. That Browns game was terrible. It's especially after the momentum we built from like starting off 0-2 and then going to like I think it was like 5-2. So hopefully I'm hoping that the defense can just kind of shore up, or the offensive line can shore up and just kind of neutralize Myles Garrett, because even without Joe Burrow, or even without Jamar Chase, we've seen Joe Burrow do a lot with less. And granted, I do think that even without Jamar Chase, they have like a top like 10 wide receiver room with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. But the narrative I talked about this on Tuesday. The narrative was kind of that he couldn't play without Jamar Chase, and in the time that Chase was out, he threw 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 1,300 yards, and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, especially T. Higgins, really stepped up in their own ways. And I don't know if I trust the Browns secondary to really contain.
It's
all
kind of a
three those
Swiss
guys.
cheese secondary.
Yeah. It's like a rotating door of cornerbacks on those two guys. So I think that this is finally going to be when the trend ends, and I think the Bengals finally beat the Browns. I'll say 28-20.
You're telling Deshaun Watson no.
Not something that
No, you lost.
Not something that is seemed to have happened a lot of the time.
No.
But
No, not with him.
no.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. I'm taking the Bengals on this one. Their offense is, again, just another one of those powerhouse offenses that we've seen, and especially with Joe Mixon coming back. And then another, literally, as we were sitting here, I got an update that Amari Cooper was limited at practice today.
Oh, let's go. I'm against him in fantasy.
I have him
That
on
would
my
be
team.
so clutch. That would be so clutch.
He was limited today with a hip.
I
so
wish I was playing against him.
He's going to have an injury designation of some kind going into Sunday, but we don't know if he's going to play yet or not. But if he doesn't play, then Von Bell is definitely going to have fun just messing around with Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's going to be all up in his face, and Donovan Peoples-Jones just going to be I can't do anything about this. What am I supposed to do?
Hey man, DPJ's been solid for
DPJ's definitely
a wide
been solid.
receiver 3, like a wide receiver 3 or 4 thrown into a wide receiver 2 role, man. That's
Yeah.
my boy.
He's been killing it, but especially with against Von Bell, you just can't deny that Von Bell is just going to have a field day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you guys. I think the curse breaks here. I think Joey B snaps that curse, and I'm going to say 28-14.
Man,
I know this is completely unrelated, but I just got a notification. Apparently, if John Wolford can't start tonight, it's going to be Baker.
Baker Mania tonight, guys.
I'm just saying. The resurgence starts now. Sean McVay.
Kid genius.
Sean McVay is going to take this, sad little homeless man, begging for coins on the street and turn him into a superstar.
We'll see. For sure.
Does who have live sports, though? Let's ask that, man. Gotta ask him.
He's no longer at home with Baker Mayfield either.
Yeah. I was really sad when they dropped him from Progressive, man. Those Progressive commercials were fire.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of had to because he's not.
Yeah.
And
He's not
good
He
anymore.
wasn't out
Not
there. He
good.
wasn't at the home.
Yeah.
You can't throw
Yeah.
him in Cleveland to record.
You
the
could have made a
commercials.
moving video. Like him taking all his stuff out of the stadium. Just has stuff in random supply
him
closets.
taking off
That'd be funny.
his frame jersey and it gets replaced for a Deshaun jersey.
So moving on to the next one, we got the team known as the Butt Fumble, the New York Jets, known for their butt fumble, I guess I should say,
Yep.
versus Super Bowl contenders Buffalo Bills. Now, however, they're both very good teams this year. The Jets have sort of broken the mold this year. They have a really solid defense. I think this could be a good game, and the Bills are favored by 10 here, but I think it's going to be
Really?
closer than that.
Favored by 10. That's
Yeah.
that's a disrespectful Mike White.
I'm gonna take the Bills here, but I think it's gonna be closer than most people think it is, because I like Mike White. I have him starting in fantasy this week because of injuries. I really hope he does well, and the Bills secondary has struggled at times this year. Now that they have Trey White back, I think they'll be a little better, and Poyer back there. However, against teams like the Packers, when Samari Toure was absolutely wide open in the end zone, I was just
Yeah.
how does that happen with our receiving core?
Yeah. They probably just forgot about him. I know that a lot of
Yeah.
Packers fans probably did.
He's going to be our future Randall Cobb. He's going to be Randall Cobb Jr., so I appreciate him.
That's what we were calling Amari Rodgers, and then
Yeah.
That did not
Touré's
go
done
well.
something though.
Yeah,
Amari Rogers has not.
I'm just saying, like, it's hard for me to believe when you have like a 40% completion catch rate at Nebraska. That's tough.
He didn't have a quarterback.
That's a blue blood school right there.
That's a blue blood school.
They sell out every game.
True.
They have like 400 consecutive sellouts. But anyway, I'm going to take the Bills here 27-24.
Yeah, I would agree with the Bills. I think it will be close. Mike White, he threw like 60 times last time, so I mean they just let him sling it. That's kind of their
He's a
offensive-
gunslinger.
Yeah, it's kind of their offensive game plan. It seems
New
like
age Brett Favre.
yeah, sure. Yeah, but they're just gonna let him throw the ball. He'll have another 50 throws probably this game. Probably so with that he'll probably throw at least one pick. I'm assuming, and that might be the difference maker in a close game. So I'm gonna go with the Bills 28-24.
You know, it's weird. You know, I went against I took one upset already with the Vikings, and I think I'm gonna take another one here. I'm just saying this right now. You guys can disagree with me if you want. Quinnen Williams is the best defensive player in this game. I think Quinnen Williams is gonna win Defensive Player of the Year.
I
That
think
man-
Matt Milano is up there too. But
That's fair. But I'm super high on Quinnen Williams. I just think that nobody should be that agile for how big
also
he is.
Sauce Gardner
I was
is
gonna
definitely
say,
up
y'all
there
really
too.
gonna leave out my boy Sauce?
Sauce got kind of sunned by Justin Jefferson last week.
Just a little bit.
JJ only had about 35 yards that game though.
That's true, but
Everyone else gives up over 100 to him.
That's my boy.
I think Quinnen Williams is going to win defensive. He's my pick to win defensive player of the
no,
year.
he's
at
mine
least.
too.
You know, he's had 3 blocked punts this year, which is
Wow.
crazy.
And I think one of them was probably
It
against
was
the Packers.
against a Mason Crosby like 45-yard or not like blocked field goal. It was a Mason Crosby 45-yard field goal, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I was probably gonna miss anyway.
Yeah.
That's too far for him at this point.
that's too far for him at the very respectable age of 78.
He's only about 37, believe it or not.
Yeah. But yeah, I honestly I think the Jets have the better defense here, and we've seen that ever since Mike White took over, it's kind of unlocked or re-unlocked Garrett Wilson, who when the other Wilson was on the field,
The one who should not be named.
the one who is
He
terrible.
who shall not be named.
The one who is terrible and who the Jets passed up on Justin Fields for, just ignored him completely. The same thing with Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, just all of these offensive weapons that the Jets had and were playing well under Joe Flacco have suddenly suddenly are like you know threats that you have to game
Reemerged
for.
again.
Yeah, threats that you have to game plan for again. So I actually think that if the Jets defense is gonna outplay the Bills defense here. I do say I think James Cook could be the X factor in this game. We've seen him finally start to like kind of come into his own. But I'm gonna take the Jets here on an upset. I'll say 27-24.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I'm gonna take the Jets here. I think even though the Bills definitely have a really good defense, I think in this instance, especially with Von Miller being out, the Jets do have the better defense, and I think now that they've got Mike White starting instead of he who shall not be named, their passing
Name redacted.
name does not exist, pretty much. But like going back to what I was saying before, like now you have like a good quarterback who's willing to throw to his wide receivers, and they're getting a lot more traction now that they're finally like getting the receptions that they need. Like yeah, he's slinging the ball a lot, but his wide receivers are still getting those. So I think it's definitely going to be a close game for sure, but I think it's going to ultimately come down to another blocked field goal, and I think the Jets are going to win this one 28-24.
Solid. Well, all of our scores had the losing team at 24 and the winning team at 27 or 28. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's a Bills number. 27 is like their magic
It'll
number.
now
for
be
me.
like
Yeah.
it'll now either be like 13-10 or 45-30.
3 or something.
Yeah.
7-5 final score.
Nah, that's a Broncos score right
That's a
there.
Broncos
Yeah.
score.
Broncos country.
We
Let's
tried.
ride. Left wide. So moving on to the next one, the Jaguars. This is the last of the 12 o'clock games for the week. The Jaguars versus the Titans. I'm gonna call this a trap game for the Titans. My patented trap games are back.
Games have returned.
The first time this year that I'm bringing out the trap game, but I think the Jaguars are gonna win this one. Bit of a hot take there, I think, but the Titans are favored by 4 in this one, but I'm not inspired by their
The
offense.
fact that they're only favored by 4, I think should be a bit of a tell.
Vegas knows best.
Vegas does know best.
But yeah, I think the Jaguars, I think they have a solid offense. Is Travis Etienne playing this week?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I think if he
heard.
plays, he's their X factor.
Yeah.
I think Zay Jones and Christian Kirk have both been playing well this year.
Zay Jones is nice. He was really good in the playoffs last year.
And Marvin Jones makes a clutch catch or two every once in a while
Yeah.
too. I think the Jaguars take this one 21-17. I'm just not inspired by the weapons besides King Henry on the Titans offense.
Yeah.
And I think them firing their GM this week was a sign of unrest there. We'll go with Drew on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you here. It's definitely a toss-up for sure, but I think actually no. I'm gonna say the Titans definitely win this one here. As much as I love Sam Strash, love that man, but I'm sorry, your Jaguars are going down this week.
I want to know how you became a Jaguars fan.
That's what I want to know, but I didn't think
In
to ask him
Wisconsin, of
last
all
night.
places.
I didn't think to ask him last night when he was on the show, but it's whatever. I definitely think Ryan Tannehill definitely picks it up this game as well, and kind of the Titans offense just kind of kick it into high gear against this Jackson team. I think it's definitely going to be close. I'm going to say 17-14.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars here. This seems like the perfect trap game. Yup. This seems like the perfect trap game. I'm getting in on it. The Titans don't have a very good aerial defense, and we know now that Trevor Lawrence can win you a game. And honestly, I like Traylon Burks. I think he's shown some really nice flashes, but I don't really think there's a consistent weapon on this team outside.
I think Robert Woods is too old.
Robert Woods is too old. Traylon Burks is
He's
young.
inconsistent.
He's young and inconsistent, and Austin Hooper is just incredibly mid. So there really isn't a weapon. Same with Dontrell Hilliard, just mid.
He's okay.
Yeah, but it's the thing about the Titans that I think is going to be their downfall in the playoffs is that they're just so easy to game plan for, and
Unless your name is Joe Barry.
that's true. But if your name isn't Joe Barry, then just to stack the box and stop the lateral. There is a path to success when you play the Titans if their wide receivers aren't getting open, which I don't think they will. I think the Jaguars secondary has actually been pretty okay this year, yeah, I like Trayvon Walker, so I think the Jags win 21-17.
I'm gonna go against that. I think the Jaguars actually have been one of the more popular upset picks every week. It seems like the people just
Well, Doug
'cause it says,
Peterson has their offense
yeah.
going in the right direction,
and they're
I think that's
saying
helping.
they're better than their record. But I still am not super high on the Jaguars. I'm gonna pick the Titans here. Trevor Lawrence has had he's had his solid games, but people forget their defense just isn't very good at all. And I think this could be. But the Jaguars secondary they don't have very many good. They don't have any good corners. I think this could be a breakout welcome to the league game for Traylon Burks. I think he could put up 100 yards and a touchdown. So I'm gonna go with the Titans here. I'll say 31 to 24.
Interesting shootout pick there, Austin.
Yeah, there's not another show next week to see how I did, so I might as well just throw one out there.
That's true.
No one can clown me if it's wrong.
That's true.
Well, they can clown you just in the live chat. Or
hey,
in the
we got
comments.
We got your email.
I'll be sending one out if it happens. Then
Dear
if Traylon Burks makes Sports Center or something, I'll be sending one out.
At asmith@uww.edu, you don't know ball.
Ball don't lie.
That's the subject, and that's it.
You don't know ball.
CC, you don't know ball.
It's gonna happen now.
So moving on to the
Speaking it
next
into
one, I
existence.
think this is another one we can kind of skip over. It's the Chiefs versus the Riders here because Broncos country, let's ride, of course. I've said that way too many times this show, but
Not as many times as Russ says it during a post-game interview.
that and the high knees on the plane.
Them high knees on the plane are important, though.
Nah, they played their best game that weekend, believe
know,
it or
You
not.
gotta do it again.
But yeah, I got the
You
Chiefs
can't.
here.
It's
No
a
real
home game.
debate in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form. I think it's going to be a little more low scoring. I think it'll be like 21-3. If the Broncos can even manage 3.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs here. The only thing worth watching for is, I don't know if you guys have like followed the trend of if Russell Wilson can get more touchdown passes than bathrooms in his house. There's like 12 bathrooms, and
He's got what, like 7, 8 touchdowns?
yeah. So that's really the only reason to watch this game. See if he can get 1 or 2 more to try
To
to
help
add
pad
that.
his stats.
Yeah.
a little bit.
See if he can
add
break
to
the
that, he
trend.
is no
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton this week.
So it's not looking great.
No.
Yeah, I'll just say the Chiefs in a blowout, like 28 to like 12, 4 field goals for the
Even then,
Broncos.
that's
Four
being
field
generous.
4 field goals.
Yeah, I was
Brandon
gonna say, I
McManus
don't-
is going to have a fantasy day.
I don't know if it's hard for me to go against the Broncos and their very respectable 13.8 points per game this season, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Mahomes on this one.
Oh, shoot. Dude, that's a bit of a bold take there.
I will say I think they'll be able to keep it close. The Broncos actually, I would argue, have like a top 3 defense. I would put the Broncos defense in the same tier as like the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think Patrick Surtain is the second best corner in the league after
I would
Darius.
put them above the Eagles. I think the Eagles can. Teams can.
Well, I think
beat them.
I think the Eagles corners are. I think the Eagles secondary is better, but their defensive line, I would take the Broncos over. But Patrick Surtain, like I said, is the second best corner in the league in my opinion. Right after right after Darius Slay. But it's just tough because I feel bad they have an elite offense, but they have elite defense, but their offense just can't put up any points. I think this is another 12 to 9 point performance, maybe a touchdown, but
Performance.
it's going to be hard
In air
with
quotes.
Cortland Sutton out, and obviously Javonte Williams still, so there's no run game. I say the Chiefs. I Chiefs win 21 to 7. I think the Broncos defense holds them to like 3 scores.
I'm going to just keep it short and simple and say the Broncos aren't good, period.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's all you need.
You've made the joke multiple times. You've made it multiple times this show. Broncos country. We tried. And we failed. My bad.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a blowout game.
So moving on to another game that I think could be low scoring, and the over-under is 37 for the Buccaneers and the 49ers. I think the 49er defense is just going to lock up the Buccaneers in this game. I think Byron Leftwich is a terrible OC, and I don't know how good Brock Purdy is going to do, but I'm going to take the Niners 21 to 13.
Yeah, I think I like the Niners here too. I think I agree that it could be a low-scoring game just because they have Brock Purdy at quarterback. But I think we said this on the Tuesday show where the Niners have a quarterback.
They have an
proof.
embarrassment of riches on offense.
Yeah, and they have a kind of like a QB-proof
Quarterback
offense
system, yeah.
where you can throw it in. So for the Baker believers, I bet they were hoping he would go to
I
the
was hoping
Niners
he would
and
go to
not
the Niners.
and Niners and not the Rams. But they're riding with Purdy. It's his team. And it's his team, as LeBron predicted. But
LeBron knew in week 1 that Brock
I
Purdy
would
was
just
going to be
tell
the
that
starter.
They would hand Purdy the keys.
yeah, it'll be like a low-scoring game. But the Niners' defense is still top-notch. That no matter who they have at quarterback, they'll be able to keep them in games. So I got the Niners 17 to 10.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the fact of the quarterback-proof system. I think you couldn't ask if you are Brock Purdy and you're trying to beat the Mr. Irrelevant allegations. There isn't a better system you could do it in than Kyle Shanahan's.
No, not at all.
I would also throw this out there. Look for Christian McCaffrey to do his best Taysom Hill impression this week, and
Yeah.
maybe
Throw a dot down the field.
multiple Wildcats. We saw Brandon Ayuk be the benefactor of that a few times against the Rams. I think that could happen again. But there's just too many studs on the defensive end. You got Trent Williams, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. You got Fred Warner, Tre'Davious Ward, Greenland.
Nick Bosa.
Bosa, obviously,
Bosa.
yeah.
The
goes
sleeping
without-
giant.
Goes without saying, but yeah, like Greenland, Tre'Davious Ward, Fred Warner. You got so many. You got a lot of dogs on this team, and as much as I think that it might be a popular pick to say it's like, well, the 49ers have a quarterback who barely plays, and the Buccaneers are coming off of a vintage Tom Brady game-winning drive. and a really good performance from Rashad White. I think Rashad White's been a really underrated rookie this year. I just don't think they have it in them to go up against a defense as good as this. So yeah, I'm gonna take the 49ers 27-20.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers on this one. I think if anyone is going to finally showcase themselves and beat these Mr. Irrelevant allegations out of all the quarterbacks this year, it's going to be Brock Purdy. And there's no other better way to do it than against Tom Brady. That's the ultimate, yeah, I'm not irrelevant. You all can bite me.
Yeah.
Beating the star quarterback of God knows how many years.
21.
Exactly.
I believe.
Who knows anymore? He needs to stop.
If you're not
lying.
counting his college career.
That's true, but I think it's definitely going to be Brock Purdy and this 49ers offense is going to dominate. I'm going to keep it a little close, 21-17.
I think it'll be a decently close game because the Niners offense, I don't know what their identity is going to be. But moving on to the next one, we're going to have to speed up these last few a little bit. This one is another trap game I could see, the Panthers versus the Seahawks. And I think the Panthers have a really solid defense. They got Brian Burns on that side of the ball. And they've been able to limit some of the teams. Like Tampa Bay, for example, they held the 3 points.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks have a bit of a flimsy defense. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I think Tariq Woolen's a really solid player.
They don't have any pass rushers.
Yeah. However, I think the Panthers can win this one 21-17 if they can just
Ooh.
limit Geno.
That is the paper pick.
That's the paper pick of the week. Someone call Max.
Trap game right there. Number 2 of the week.
I'm gonna go against that. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. Simply, they have the better offense against Panthers defense that is not very good at all. And then we can talk about the Panthers. They haven't found defense or offense really the whole season. They haven't found much consistency. Whereas I feel like the Seahawks have had more. Geno Smith has been. We keep mentioning the best surprises of the NFL this year. He's playing out of his mind, and I think he'll have another good game this week. I'll go with the Seahawks, 24-17.
Yeah. To any Panthers fans out here who may be watching this, I'm just saying. Nobody's ever in 8 years when the Panthers are good, nobody can ever call you a bandwagon because dog, this team's horrible.
By the
You
way,
have won the TV.
shout out to Joe Maybe if you're listening, our assistant TV director. He puts up with the Panthers every year.
Joe-
Shout out to him.
Joe-
He came out against us after one of
It was after
one
the
of our
Thanksgiving-
shows.
We absolutely
Yeah.
went in
The
on
week
the
before
Panthers.
Thanksgiving, he goes, I swear to God, if you guys come back and you don't defend the Panthers, I am harassing each and every single
Yeah.
one of you.
So I'll say Joe maybe. Nobody can ever call you a bandwagon in 8 years when Bryce Young wins MVP because, my God, dog, this team's horrible. It's not good.
Dude, he's going to be sitting outside the studio again.
Yeah, I'm
He's
gonna,
at the window.
I'm gonna be glancing over my shoulder, but I will say J.C. Horn has been pretty good this year. A pretty nice surprise for that secondary, but whether it's P.J. Walker or Sam Darnold or whoever they decide to side for the practice roster, if neither of those two guys can go, as long as the Seahawks just zero in on Deontay Foreman and you put Tariq Woolen on DJ Moore, I think Tariq Woolen. I like DJ Moore, but I think Tariq Woolen's winning that. I think that's tuna in a can for Tariq Woolen, as Jamar Chase put it. I think the Seahawks. I do agree. I think the pass rush is a little suspect, and the defensive line has been left a couple things to be desired. But I don't think this will be a signature trap game. I think the Seahawks will win this one, 30-10.
Yeah, I keep saying it every week. I think Geno Smith has definitely proven himself as I am that guy.
Oh, I believe that too. I just think for some reason he'll struggle against the Panthers because I feel like some other top QBs
But
have.
I also think that
Mariota.
these wide receivers that he's
absolute
got,
elite.
oh for sure, these wide receivers that he's got in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett pulled out the Usher last week, and I thought that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
I'm just wondering what Jalen Ramsey's going to get DK Metcalf for Father's Day. That's coming up.
I know. That's coming up pretty quickly, actually. I'm curious to see. If you need gift ideas, let me know. I got some. But I definitely think the Seahawks kind of blow out the Panthers here. I'm going to say 28-14.
Going back to the DK thing, maybe you could get him some new cleats so we can. So when he shreds his ankles, he can just have another pair.
Or some more blue hair dye.
Yeah,
If he
that
wants to
too.
go back to that version of DK.
Nah, get him one of the portable bathrooms to just carry onto the field with him. That way, if he's got to go during a game, he doesn't have to get carded off.
He doesn't have to pull a Paul Pierce.
Or Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So moving on to the next one, we got our Sunday night game of the week. Dolphins Chargers. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I think this game plays out like every Chargers game. I think it's gonna be close pretty much the whole game, especially a Sunday night Chargers game. Justin Herbert's gonna lead a drive down the field with 3 minutes left, put him up 24-21. Tua's gonna take him right down the field, get it to 28-24 with approximately 30 seconds left, and Herbert will get sacked twice to end the game.
I swear you just described the script of the Chiefs game.
Yep, that's exactly what I did. And I think it's gonna happen again.
How the Chiefs game went.
Jeez.
It's a Chargers game. That's a Chargers football game right there.
That's a Brandon Staley masterclass.
Yeah. I kind of like that. You just convinced me there.
Yeah. Wow. Chris picked up the NFL game script for the week.
Yeah.
They sent it to the wrong email, and he got it instead.
Justin
Some other
Herbert.
guy's like, I never got the script for the week, and Chris is over here like, what's this?
All right, so we're gonna control Justin Herbert so that he can't move for second down and third down of the last drive.
You cannot move. We'll go with the Dolphins here in a close last-minute game. Tua had his worst game of the season last week, but I think he can bounce
Don't tell
back.
Brian that.
Yeah, dude, I was about to say this would be a fun game for
Hide
Brian.
Cover up Brian's ears during this
This would
segment.
be a fun one because he was down on Herbert and very high on Tua on Tuesday. But good for him that I think I'm going to pick the Dolphins. I think Tua will. Chris persuaded me. He'll lead a drive at the last minute to make it close to win the game, and the Dolphins will win this one. I'll say 31-28.
Man, we got to save Derwin James and Khalil Mack, man.
Yeah, and Joey Bosa.
He's injured, though.
That's true. I was considering picking the Chargers just because I know that the Dolphins will be without Teron Armstead, and that was a big reason why they lost the 49ers game. But I don't know how much I trust the Chargers offense. I was saying this before the show. I think Keenan Allen might be cooked. He doesn't seem to have that like burst of explosiveness or that like separation ability that made him like an elite wide receiver. And he's 30 years old, so I mean it makes sense. He's no spring chicken anymore. But with no Mike Williams, like Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, all these, defensive-minded stars are going to be zeroed in on Keenan Allen as long as they limit Austin Eckler's pass catching to like checkdowns and stuff, which is where he's most effective anyway. I don't really know how good the offensive attack is going to be if Keenan Allen is like in like double coverage and whatnot. So, I think that your game script convinced me. I'm going to go 28-24.
That sounds like a Chargers score right there.
That is the Chargers score. 28-24, Dolphins take this. Easy enough.
So for the last game of the year, what am I saying? The last game of the week, we have Monday Night Football. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots go into Arizona and face the 4-8 Kyler Murray Codwed Cardinals. Drew's rubbing his hands together back
joke.
Okay.
Speaking
stole
of
my joke.
Speaking
I'm sorry,
of bad
Drew.
offensive coordinators named Matt Patricia is about to pull another masterclass out of his hat.
I think the Patriots offense has been looking better lately.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones is starting to
What's
play
the
up to his
script for this
potential
one?
again. I think the Patriots win this one 31-17, but I'm hoping for a DeAndre Hopkins or Marquise Brown touchdown because I have them in fantasy.
I've been
Alright.
making the same joke every week about Kyler Murray playing Call of Duty. And
He
this,
even got it in last week
I
with
e-
the bye week.
I
Yeah,
got
they
it in
were
on the bye week. I
They
got
weren't
it in
even
on the
playing,
bye
and
week.
Kyler still caught a stray.
And I was all excited too because this weekend is actually a double XP weekend, so Kyler Murray's skill has already dropped off. He's gone. He's done for. And then you just up and stole the joke. So I'm upset. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, Drew.
No, you're fine. You're
I
fine.
come on the show, I steal your joke,
Hey,
Hey,
I still made
if
the
you
joke.
guys don't
That's what
want me here
matters.
anymore, I understand.
I still made
Well,
the
we
joke.
can't really do anything about it. You're going to
Yeah.
be going anyway.
I still made the joke. That's what matters. Kyler Murray's busy playing COD this week. Mac Jones has taken this one to the house.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a score. Sorry.
I don't got one. I don't got one.
Okay. I was going to say, I know it was a popular topic of debate of Bailey Zappi versus Mac Jones. I think through these past 4 weeks, Mac Jones has reminded everyone that he's the franchise
He
quarterback.
was a Pro Bowler last
He
year.
was a Pro
No matter
Bowler.
how undeserved it was.
No matter how bad that gritty was, he still was a Pro Bowler. And I think he has been pretty good these last few weeks. And, a lot of people like to talk about teams with no offensive weapons around him. I mean, Jacoby Myers is all right, but whatever the receivers...
Devontae Parker.
The fact that Devontae Parker is your argument for his other help should make
Nelson
this point.
Aguilar.
Okay, all right. Now we're just saying
Kendrick Bourne.
I don't even know who that is. But yeah, I don't trust the Cardinals defense at all. They have one of the worst rushing defenses in football. Ramondre Stevenson's been one of the biggest surprise players. I think he's kind of like a poor man's Josh Jacobs this year. And as long as Matt Patricia is going to have to really screw this up in order to screw this up, because this is set up perfectly for the Patriots to get back on track. I think they win. I'll say 21-13. However, though, I think it'll be funny when Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury get into it, and then Kyler Murray goes home, plays Call of Duty with his boys. He's like, "Yeah, I totally tore Cliff a new one this week. 2 on me, 1 is weak."
I love that now we're all just bashing Kyler.
Yeah, I had that one. I was ready for that one.
I came strapped last week with the bye week one.
The bye week.
Yeah. I'm also going to go with the Patriots here. I'm not going to bash Kyler Murray, however. I'm going to bash Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's one of the worst coaches in the NFL.
It's okay, I'll bash Kyler for you. If your main quarterback is busy playing COD rather than focusing on getting better with the team,
Jeez.
I got you.
I would say the worst coach in football right now.
Yeah, he's definitely got to go. Also, the Cardinals have not been the same ever since A.J. Green's controller died and Rasul Douglas game-winning interception last year.
That was Kyler's controller right there.
They were 7-0 and they lost that, and they really haven't been the same. So Kingsbury's got to go. Bill Belichick is going to win this game basically for the Patriots. He's the better coach.
Yeah.
He's had time to game plan.
Oh, just by a little bit though. The margin's really thin.
Yeah.
They're like the tip of the scale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
the Patriots.
Tomato.
I'll go 17-14. I think it'll be lower scoring.
I think Kyler's going to score the same amount of kills he gets in a Call of Duty match.
So 3.
Hey, be generous.
Hey, he's got.
Give him
If
4.
he plays COD a
Give him
lot, he's
4.
got to be.
No, I bet Kyler's actually nice at COD for all the jokes we make.
Yeah,
I bet that
he
man
probably is.
I bet that man is carrying those SND 6 minutes.
Guarantee you, I'll sit here and bash him all I want, and then when I go back to my dorm, I'm playing him the next
Yeah,
game.
you're
He dropped
gonna
like
get
90 on
Oh,
you.
what's up, Kyler?
Hey, what up,
He's gonna
Kyler?
drop like a 30 bomb on you.
Dropping that nuke, and I'm just like, well, I can't say anything anymore.
All right, so moving on to our final thought, I just want to give another shout out to Max. This would have been
Yeah.
his last Hawk Talk. He's been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into
And
the
push-ups.
whole and push-ups
And push-ups.
into the radio program. He was my play-by-play this year for football. Just thank you, Max. Enjoy the rest of your life, I guess.
That sounds harsh. We wish you could have been here for sure. The show is definitely a lot of fun with you, but it's also fun without you, but it's not the same. Love you, Chris.
Thank you, Drew.
Even though you stole my joke.
I'm sorry.
I really enjoyed getting to know Max better this past year, especially since we did a few announcing jobs together recently. He kind of showed me the ropes, and it was really cool to have a guy that I knew had a lot of experience to kind of backing me and everything.
Oh, that helped me out a lot too.
Yeah, and he made the game picks fun, man. We had some fun on this show with him, and I'm gonna miss that. So Max, if you're watching this, I wish you the best with whatever you're doing after you graduate, man. And just good luck in the future.
You guys pretty much said all the things about Max. Good luck in your future endeavors. The Thursday shows have been fun. I think next year, if there's another Thursday predictions, we gotta keep records of game picks.
Yeah.
I think we do.
That would be
Gotta
fun.
bring back the paper picks.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
That's all I got.
All right, and that'll do it for our Thursday edition of Hawk Talk. Thank you again, Max, for everything you've contributed to the program. Make sure to tune in again next semester for 91.7 The Edge Hawk Talk. I believe I'll be hosting again on Tuesdays. Hopefully some of you guys can come back for a cameo or two, depending on time constraints and whatnot. And yeah, have a good night, everyone that's listening, and thank you for listening.
Back to Hawk Talk here on 91.7 The Edge WSUW Whitewater, as well as live streamed on UWW TV on YouTube. I am your host, Drew Best.